Here's a snippet from my workshop where I show how to use articulation to create a lively sound and also, most importantly, to have fun with articulation. This is also a common passage in a common type of passage in Baroque music, especially in string music. And we have to understand that this is a place to think harmonically and not melodically, which means that there's a less emphasis on individual notes, but more on how the blocks of sound move. So imagine on a string instrument, so this is originally written for the violin, right? Strings continue to sound after the note has been played, so that's the kind of acoustical effect we need to imitate here, which means on the flute, we actually need more sound and a gentler articulation. So not too short, not too separated. Maybe also think about tonguing a little bit further back in the mouth in order to show the harmonic movement and less focused on the individual notes and to create that acoustical effect that you would have on the violin. My suggestion of practicing this, say it first and then try with your flute, and remember to always diminuendo and lighten up your sound within each 16th note group. So within each group, this is one group here, lighten up your sound. So it's going to sound like this. So I would suggest to first practice it like that. And once you have a basic idea, we can refine this furthermore by actually lightening up not only within the 16th note group, but always the second group of each harmony. Think of it kind of like as an echo of the first one. Because there is no melodic interest, so this 16th note, this second group is basically just to sustain the harmony. And there's no reason, we already have it in the first group, okay? So we don't have to kind of pound our listeners with that. So by playing the second group lighter, we again create liveliness and clarity. Okay, so again, I'm going to do this slowly. And so forth. We're not talking about a big echo contrast either. Oftentimes with these kind of techniques, maybe it's already enough just by being conscious of it, like by thinking about it. Okay, so again, that again creates that nice light and dark contrast. Okay, and of course, it's always fun to break the pattern once in a while, and which Corelli also does. We see here at the end that he's using different ways of outlining the harmony. Yeah, this kind of arpeggiation pattern it changes. Okay, so and if you're unsure sometimes when that happens or how, what also gives it away is the leap here. So we'll want to show that also with our tonguing, and also really have fun with what Corelli gave us. It's not just about doing according to the music, but it's actually also our way of having fun with the music. I'll get more into that in just a bit. So what you'll want to do is, this is where you'll actually want to clip. So stop the sound with the tongue, just on this one here. Yada dee da dee da dum. Okay, because this is the end of that pattern. And then this is starting something new, because this actually we haven't had before, you know? So this starts, then this is something new, and we do then again the 2 and 2 tonguing pattern. Again, doesn't really matter for now what you're doing. Important thing is we just have to have this kind of 2 and 2 pattern, because that's just that's the pattern, and that shows the harmony. Okay, so this is going to sound like this. And with some practice, you can actually create enough space so that this thing here, it becomes almost like kind of dotted, which will give this passage even more swing. I'll see if I can try to do that. Do you hear that? Okay, yeah, so this that just, that's something fun to do. All right, and even in a fast tempo, again, it just takes practice. You can carve out that detail with the articulation. Allegro means joyful. So how do we express joyful? Of course, we won't want to do a very slow tempo, but showing this kind of detail is a way of expressing joyful. And if you just joyfulness, and if you just kind of race through the passage, you really miss out on this detail. And I think it's just really fun to do it, and also to hear that. Okay, on the page, the notes look so flat and equal, but in fact, there are so many things that we can do and should do. And there are really 2 important reasons why we do all this. Yeah, and that is, it brings us closer to the music, and it makes us have fun with it. So that we can enjoy all the twists and turns and the little shapes and forms of the harmony, of the melody, and that we look for opportunities to play with our playing. So we play with our tongue, we play with our breath, we play with shaping sounds. And imagine if you would go back and play in the way how the notation looks, like it would just be such a huge world of difference. And